Today we are going to make a list with the top 10 best strength weapons in the game, and the reason is, strength build is the best one to play in Elden Ring, especially after the addition of the DLC weapons and patch 1.14, which buffed some strength weapons. I know a lot of people think magic builds is the most powerful to melt bosses and pew pew from far away, but nothing is better than bonk. Just a heads up now, my favorite weapon of the game is in this list and it is no accident. The way we will rank the weapons is by utilizing 3 categories because I think it is best to show every aspect of each weapon. The 3 categories we will analyze then are: how good is the weapon in boss fights, how good it is in duels and in invasions. We will divide PvP in duels and invasions because the way we use them in each scenario is different. Some weapons can be awesome in invasions but not very good in duels. To make this tier list more diverse, I tried not to choose more than 1 weapon per category. Without further ado, let's jump for the top 10. Number 10. Warp Attacks. I put Warp Attacks in 10th place because not only it has good damage and insane speed, but also because if you infuse it with blood, it has a scaling in strength and 100 bleed points. The bleed build-up is so fast due to the fast hits and adds up a lot of burst damage when the enemies bleeds. Combining it with Endure makes a nice option for both PvE and PvP. I gave it 3 of 5 against bosses because not every boss is weak to bleed, 4 of 5 in duels and in invasions for the same reason. If used well, you can trade hits with Endure and bleed the other player. The base damage is already pretty good and the swings are very fast. Number 9. Sword Lance. The Sword Lance is a good weapon of choice in many situations because it has great damage and pierce damage for counter-attack hits. After patch 1.14, it has a true combo with the strong attack followed by a light attack. And when combined with Storm Stomp, it has a true combo with the strong attack. It is a good option against bosses that are weak against pierce damage, like dragons for example, and it is especially good in PvP because of the combos I mentioned and also the jump attacks mixed ups. Number 8. Serpent Hunter. I personally enjoy using it more in PvP because of the mix-ups you can do with the crouch poke, running and jump attacks. Against bosses it can be a good option due to its range and pierce damage, and if you use it in power stance mode, the damage is pretty good. The downside, you don't have a good Ash of War. Number 7. Knight Rider Glaive. The glaive is a nasty and long weapon. When combined with the Flame Strike Ash of War, it becomes even better. It is a good option against bosses that are hard to reach, like freaking Bale. In duels, the Knight Rider Glaive plus Flaming Strike is an awesome combination, and in invasions it's also incredible to delete people. Number 6. Giant Crusher. The Giant Crusher is the real definition of bonk, due to its size and to its damage. When combined with Royal Knight's Resolve or Crag Blade, you can melt and break stance of bosses like no other weapon, especially when in power stance mode. In PvP, after the patch 1.14, the crouch and running attacks received a speed buff, making it a good option for insane damage. In duels it can be predictable, but in invasions this is an amazing option. Number 5. Great Sword of Solitude. The best weapon class of Souls game, the Great Swords, has one of the best strength weapons, the Great Sword of Solitude. A lot of hyper armor, a lot of damage, a nice moveset, and an Ash of War that combines range and damage. The damage per second of this thing is not very high, but the raw damage and hyper armor makes it good. When fighting bosses it can be a good weapon, but it really shines in PvP. It is a nice option for both invasions and duels, but when 1v1, you have to be a little more creative and not just smash it like crazy. I give it 5 stars in invasions because sometimes you just need a bit of hyper armor to win. Number 4. Golem Great Bow. Okay, I need to confess that I forced this weapon to be here just because it is my favorite weapon of the game. It is not properly a strength build weapon, with C scaling and fully upgraded, but it performs best with this kind of build. It is a good option against bosses that don't chase you that hard and does a very good amount of damage. And please always remember to use the golden arrow with this great bow. In duels it can be predictable, but in invasions it is a real menace because of its long range and damage. Number 3. The Greatsword. The classic Guts Greatsword is one of the best choices when it comes to strength build. The reason is because of the insane damage that it deals against bosses and other players, and also the hyper armor it has. I already made a video about this weapon, so if you want to check it out more deeply, please be free to watch that video. The moveset is incredible, especially the crouch poke that comes out so fast. The Ashes of War that I recommend are Royal Knight's Resolve to boost the damage like crazy, or Waves of Darkness to have an area of effect. Number 2. Freya's Greatsword. In second place, the best cursed Greatsword for a strength build, but also the best option if you want to win invasions. This little powerhouse can be used to trade a lot of hits even against bosses. The damage is incredible, the hyper armor is insane, the speed is awesome, and with Flaming Strike it becomes perfect. It is my weapon of choice when I want to trade hits and melt people by simply smashing R1. Against bosses you can easily break their stances with few hits, and in duels it can be a very good option as well. Number 1. Starfist. And finally for number 1, the Starfist. It has everything I need to win fights against bosses, 1v1s and invasions, due to its speed and damage. If you want to cheese every boss of the game, just use it with Endure and Bleed Infusion and melt them down. If you know how to use it, in duels the running R1 does wonders, and the well-spaced R2 can be incredible. In invasions the Endure option allows you to tank and trade many hits, and deals insane damage with the bleed build-up. And to mention 2 weapons I didn't mention before, but I need to recommend as well, are the Stone Club and Red Bear's Claw. The Stone Club has hyper armor and damage that does wonders in PvP and PVE. If you combine it with the Barbaric Roar and the Charged R2, you can delete people in PvP. And it has a scaling in strength with Heavy Infusion. And also the Red Bear's Claw, it has a unique Ash of War that I find amazing, especially in PvP. It has insane speed and it has B-scaling in strength. So that's it for today guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.